Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. Changes to the energy price cap bring more anxiety for people like Karen, struggling to afford another rise in heating bills as the government reduces support.
This constant worry. Where's the next penny coming from?
Living with autism, the Girl Guide from Reading, who's written about her experiences to help people understand what it's like to be neurodiverse.
Also tonight, hugs for Oxford's Carl Robinson before he's told to go. The U searchlight for a new manager.
And did you see the Northern Lights? Nature's stunning show was captured by some of you. Your pictures from Oxfordshire coming up. Good evening. Campaigners are calling on the government to do more to help people with energy bills, with news today that most people will be paying around £500 more from April.
The price energy companies can charge is coming down, but people are still going to face higher bills, around 20% higher, because government support is coming to an end. Natalie Verney has been speaking to one woman from West Oxfordshire.
Karen struggles to sleep at night. She's too worried about paying her bills.
Well, we don't sleep. Basically, we may have 4 hours, then we're up. Then we might have another couple of hours, and then we're up again. Because it's constant worry. Where's the next penny coming from?
Arthritis and lung disease forced Karen to give up work. Now she relies on government benefits, and her husband is her full-time carer. Their energy bills have risen to about £400 a month. She says they simply can't afford to pay any more, and she's anxious about her future.
Conditions I've got, they are life-threatening. Now, eventually, I will have to go on an oxygen tank, which is electricity being used 24/7 every single day of the year. Now, how is somebody, not only myself, but for somebody else, is using oxygen to this day, how are they going to cope with electricity bills? They're not.
But today's announcement means bills are set to increase even further. The new price cap is £3,280 per year for the average household. That's a fall of almost £1,000 on the current price cap of £4,279. Ofgem says the new rate reflects the recent fall in wholesale energy prices. But bills are still expected to rise as government support becomes less generous. The government has been running two schemes in tandem to help reduce our energy bills. The first, the £400 winter discount, will soon come to an end. The second, the energy price guarantee, which is the government's own cap on energy bills, is rising from £2,500 to £3,000 in April, meaning consumers will have to pay around £500 or 20% more towards their bills. Most people we spoke to in Basingstoke today believe government support should continue.
To kind of get the winter out of the way, and if it went down in the summer or the spring when people aren't going to need their energy so much, that would probably have been better timing.
Of course, if they can continue from April, that would be more helpful.
I haven't had to have heating on this last few weeks because I ran out. I couldn't put any money on.
George Baker is from the Disability Union. He says staying warm is essential for health and people with disabilities are disproportionately affected.
It's lovely to have a price cap on energy, but as we can see now, despite the fact they've lowered it by £1,000, people are still going to pay more. So it's meaningless, isn't it, effectively?
It's predicted the energy price cap will fall further in July, so these higher payments might only last for 3 months. But for people like Karen, 3 months is too long. Natalie Verney, ITV News.
Well, TV's money-saving expert Martin Lewis says consumers are facing severe pressures from energy costs. Earlier, he spoke to Kevin Ashford.
We're paying already now double what we were paying last winter. We are currently expecting it to go up by 20% in April. That's a government price rise, not the regulator, not firms, which is why I'm campaigning for that not to happen. And I think people are desperate for any form of energy relief that they can get. Remember too, in April, that £400 winter help that everybody's been getting, that stops as well. So it's going to get quite tough. Every hint that the direction of travel in energy prices is down is good.
You've been advising for some time for people not to fix their energy prices. Is that still the advice?
Currently, it's still the advice because there are no fixes available. There are no meaningfully cheaper tariffs available. There's no way to fix. I think we are likely to see that to start to change in the next few weeks or maybe couple of months, that we may see some fixes come in. The real question will be at what price. So once we do know the price of the fix, then we'll be able to analyse whether it looks worth it or not.
And one final question, I know it's a question you've been asked a lot. Wholesale prices are going down, the consumer isn't seeing that. Why is that?
Well, to be fair, there was a time lag with our prices going up. No one will feel it because as soon as our prices went up, we all thought it was awful. But they did not go up as quickly as the wholesale rates. So wholesale rates went up and our price followed. Wholesale rates are coming down and there is a time lag for our prices to come down, which is what's happening. That's why when you ask me, in July, are we likely to see prices drop? I can say yes, because I know what the time lag is, and that's what relates to now. So we are a victim of the time lag at the moment. But the really big question is, in April, is the government going to choose to put the nation's prices up by 20%? I think that would be an act of national mental health harm. We do not need another letter telling people that bills are going to be going up by 20%. And that's one of the reasons I wrote to the Chancellor. That and the fact not putting them up would keep inflation lower too.
Money-saving expert Martin Lewis there, and in response the government says the cost of energy has already been falling and we expect this to drop further over the coming months, which we fully expect suppliers to pass on to their customers.
Let's move on to other news. And the family of a woman from Berkshire who was killed by her husband and buried in Windsor Great Park 13 years ago is due to meet the Justice Secretary later this week over the prospect of his release from prison. Joanna Simpson was killed with a hammer at her family home in Ascot in 2010. Her husband, British Airways Captain Roger Brown, was jailed for 24 years for manslaughter. He's expected to be released in November. Dominic Raab said he would look at the parole case and will meet with Joanna's family.
The trial has begun of a man accused of murdering his housemate at the home they shared in Botley in Oxfordshire. Russian-born Leonid Leboshin died from stab wounds at the property on Pinnock's Way in October 2021. 34-year-old Eugene Coman is appearing at Oxford Crown Court.
Next, a 10-year-old girl from Early has launched a campaign about neurodiversity. Abby Shakespeare, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 6, is a keen girl guide and was inspired to create the campaign to help get one of her badges.
She told our reporter Charlotte Britt-Edney she wants to help children of all ages to understand more about neurodiversity and how they can help young people with autism.
There are lots of different levels of autism. Some children can't even talk. So I'm using my voice today to tell you all about it.
Powerful words from a 10-year-old girl.
I did it because I wanted to let people know what neurodiversity, what it actually is. I think it will make it a lot easier for neurodiverse children and a bit less stressful for them.
4 years ago, Abby Shakespeare was diagnosed with autism. Now she's put together this campaign to help children her age understand what it is.
Tell me how Abby's autism impacts her day to day.
So sometimes she gets quite overwhelmed. There are a number of situations with her sensory issues, with regards to noise. So quite often after school she likes to come home and spend some quiet time by herself.
But none of it has stopped Abby attending Girl Guides every week, taking part in activities from cooking to sports.
I like that you can be yourselves there and that you can make lots of friends.
Some of the skills they teach them are lifelong skills and really kind of inspires them to be empowered young ladies.
Things are warming up in the guide movement.
Girl Guides was founded in 1909 and many things have changed. But today, as then, serving the community and social action remain core values. And yes, they do still collect badges. In fact, it was the Girl Guide campaigning badge that inspired Abby's presentation, which has now been discussed on local radio and TV.
Yeah, I didn't really know it was going to go this far.
And how does that make you feel?
Really good about myself, more confident, and makes me also quite nervous too, because I don't know how people are going to react to me at school.
Super proud. I mean, I couldn't imagine being 10 years old and doing a presentation, let alone interviews.
It's very professional, very good. She's impressed me so much in doing the whole thing, really.
Abby's school will hear her presentation during Neurodiversity Week next month and know that small actions are part of big changes. Charlotte Beredney, ITV News, Early.
Next, a year on from the death of Oxford scientist Dr. Ling Fels on her bicycle in Oxford, her family have announced the creation of a research award in her memory. The mum of two was killed on the plane in a collision with a lorry. The Ling Fels Memorial Fund was launched last September to financially support young scientists.
The Chief Executive of Thames Water, Sarah Bentley, says she is heartbroken by the impact of sewage spills, which are the result of decades of underinvestment. The company has today announced a £1.6 billion investment in sewage treatment works, including £15 million upgrading the Whitney sewage treatment works to reduce the number of pollution discharges.
Now you're watching ITV News Meridian. Still to come, we're heading to the Swiss Alps, where a Hampshire eye surgeon is about to push herself to the limit in gruelling conditions.
And a fresh catch daily. The Oxford chippy who captures his customers on camera sees his snaps go on display at a local art gallery.
More from us online, of course. All the details you need on the screen. 0808 10 10 095 is the number. Follow us online.
Thousands of farmers and land managers have been spending time bird watching to observe and record the numbers of wild birds on their land. The annual Big Farmland bird count is now in its 10th year.
Well, the aim is to get a snapshot of the numbers of farmland birds and also support work that's been done to reverse the decline, with 1 in 4 species said to be under threat. Charlotte Wilkins reports.
Many bird species in this country, like these yellowhammers, are under pressure with a decline in their habitats and food sources, meaning numbers have been falling. Up-to-date information on those numbers is vital to helping tackle the problem. Staff at this fruit farm in the New Forest have taken part in the annual Big Farmland bird count for the first time this year. They say they're already taking steps to improve the habitat for birds.
We know that probably over 60% of the birds we normally seeing day to day are nesting in those hedges. So step forward, we engage with the local traditional hedge layer, and we start the project this year. You can see that hedge right behind me. And we've done already nearly 400 meters, but with that cooperation we want to carry on this project.
This is the 10th year the bird count has taken place. In last year's survey, farmers and other land managers reported seeing 420,000 birds, covering 130 different species on 1.5 million acres of land. On this farm last year, they recorded 47 species of birds, 7 of them rare. The owners say it's down to their nature-friendly approach to farming.
It's really important for the environment. The number of birds on a farm is a signal for how strong the environmental well-being of the farm is. We have fantastic soil counts here for organic matter in the farm because we use lots of manures and organic manures in the land, and so we grow great crops because of that. But at the same time we want a healthy environment, so we plant willow for biomass, and as part of that attracts millions of birds, and then we feed them, so we attract even more of them.
Those behind the farmland bird count say the decline in numbers is worrying, but one bright spot is that small changes can have a big impact.
Things like supplementary feeding, really, really important. You feed the birds in your garden, why not feed them on your farm as well? Overwinter cover crops, supplementary feeding, and habitat management. Nice big hedgerows, overwinter stubbles, providing that food stuff during the hungry gap, which is now until May time. Continue feeding till May, you'll really help out your farmland birds.
The count gives a vital snapshot of the health of the UK's farmland bird life. Charlotte Wilkins, ITV News.
That may have felt a bit nippy today, but spare a thought for a hospital surgeon from Southampton who's braving much, much colder weather.
Nishami Amasinghe, a consultant ophthalmologist, is taking on the Everest in the Alps challenge from tomorrow. On skis, she'll be climbing up to 2,500 metres a day on a 4-day hike, raising money for Glaucoma UK.
Earlier, we caught up with her and began by asking her how she was feeling.
Nishani, great to speak to you. It looks stunning there, but tomorrow is D-Day. How are you feeling?
Quite nervous. It's going to be very cold tomorrow. The sun's out today, but tomorrow it will be -7 going up to -15 at the top. So it's going to be cold.
And just give us an idea of how gruelling this challenge is going to be. It all sounds, all well and good talking about it now, but you're going to go through some tough times over the next few days.
Yes, so basically I'll be ski touring, so that's skinning, i.e. skiing uphill for 8,848 metres, which is the height of Everest. It's going to take us 4 days, probably worth doing about 11 hours a day, but we will just do as much as it takes to get the challenge completed. We'll start at 6 o'clock in the morning each day in minus temperatures, and do at least 2,000 to 2,500 metres a day ascent, and hopefully finish the whole thing in 4 days.
How have you been preparing? Have you ever done anything as extreme as this before?
I've never done anything like this. I'm not very sporty. I've done a 10K for charity and I've cut my hair off for charity, but that's about it. If you asked me to do a marathon, I probably wouldn't be able to. I'd have probably said no. But when a friend asked me to do this, I thought it would be a good way of raising the awareness of glaucoma and Glaucoma UK, the charity. So I thought I'd take it on. I'm now thinking it may not have been such a good idea, but yeah, done the training, so hopefully it'll be good.
And just tell us briefly a little bit more about that motivation, about the cause.
So I'm doing this for Glaucoma UK. I'm a glaucoma consultant myself at Southampton Hospital, and glaucoma is a disease that affects 1 in 50 of the population over the age of 40, and it goes up to 10% the population over the age of 75. And even though it affects such a big amount of the population, most people don't know about it. It can steal your sight slowly, so people don't present to us until it's quite late, and it's heartbreaking to see patients that present with sight loss that's very advanced. So what our aim is to raise the awareness of glaucoma, and I'm doing this for Glaucoma UK, who are excellent at supporting patients. They also fund research, and their motto and mission, as it is my mission as well, is to stop preventable sight loss and blindness.
Well, all the best to you, Nishani. Thank you so much, and we sincerely hope that you sleep well tonight, and all the best for your very extreme journey.
Thank you so much. Lovely to chat to you.
We hope to catch up with Nishani on her return.
Absolutely. Let's stay with that sporting theme. Sarah joins us in the studio, and talking of challenges, what next for Oxford?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it, Matt? Thank you. Because after nearly 5 years, Oxford United are looking for a new manager. At the end of Saturday's home defeat to Bristol Rovers, Carl Robinson gave his final post-match hugs as Oxford's manager. Just 1 point from 8 matches left the board with little choice. This defeat at the Kassam Stadium, the final straw. But Robinson was a very popular man at Oxford, not least for twice taking the team into the League One playoffs. The fans are disappointed, but feel the club must move on.
It's never a good day when you have to sack a manager. There's been a lot of good years under Carl, and he's done a lot of good things with the club, but the time was right, definitely. The team had got to a place where we desperately needed change, and we needed new impetus. So, the timing is right, and it's time to move on. I think we need to get back to the identity we'd started to build up, where we're investing in young, talented players who we can develop and eventually move the club up into the Championship, where we really hope to be.
Well, thankfully, not all of our Football League managers were left regretting bad results this weekend. At the top of our roundup tonight, victories for Reading and Portsmouth. Andrew Pate begins with the Royals.
Xero accounting software. Sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Reading manager Paul Ince recalled his son Tom to the team and was rewarded with a match-winning performance. Thomas, as his dad calls him, fired home a deflected opener and then doubled his tally with 20 minutes to go. Those strikes sandwiching an Andy Carroll penalty, the Royals now a very healthy 13 points above the drop zone.
In League One, Portsmouth's dominant display against Cheltenham was one that delighted new boss John Mousinho and fans alike. The tie was all but settled within 26 minutes. With Louis Thompson's stoppage time rocket simply sealing victory. Pompey hope to carry this momentum into tomorrow night when they welcome Bolton to Fratton Park.
In League Two, Swindon are up to 10th place and starting to believe again, with Russian Hepburn Murphy scoring his first league goals for the club. The former England under-20 striker finishing off a great move to put the Robins in control. The 3 points sealed when Joe Tomlinson's header somehow found its way past the Harrogate defence.
Crawley Town face a relegation scrap. This heavy defeat to Carlisle leaves them 2 points from Football League safety. The Cumbrian side were 4 up at half-time. Scott Lindsay's team clawed 2 back. It wasn't enough, though, to keep them out of the bottom 2. Finally from me, thousands of runners of all abilities took to the streets of Brighton yesterday to take part in the city's annual half marathon. Some wanted to record a personal best, others simply wanted to raise lots of money for charity. The winner of the women's race was Charlotte Reagan, who finished in just over an hour and 18 minutes, and student Cal Mills won the men's race in 1 hour and 6 minutes. Making it look rather too easy, I think.
Yes, just a bit. Sarah, thank you very much.
Now, from chunky chips to candid camera, fry up to pin up, a popular chip shop owner in Oxford has been given the unusual accolade of having his photographs put on display at the City Museum.
Yes, Kaz Hakimi takes pictures of his customers, capturing them as they're waiting for their orders. His work has gone on show alongside snaps taken 100 years ago by a local grocer.
Benny Sylvester has been to meet him at his chippy on the Iffley Road.
Kaz Hakimi's main focus for the past 34 years has been to serve up the best takeaways at his chippy on the Iffley Road. But he's also a keen photographer, always on the lookout for interesting customers. And if he sees one, he quickly captures their image.
That's nice. My customers, they become my friends because I've been there so long and I'm very interested in people's behaviour and lives and so on.
His work caught the attention of the Oxford Museum, and this month his photos are on display alongside pictures taken 100 years ago.
This gentleman comes to my shop and he's my friend and a customer. So it was summer and he came without his shirt like that, so I took a picture of him. That young lady used to come to my shop and she was always impeccably dressed and she looked very interesting every time. So I photographed her to keep a photo of her for a memory.
The photographer 100 years ago was Henry Underhill, a high street grocer in Oxford who also loved capturing candid shots of local characters. His camera was a bit different then, but the exhibition invites visitors to consider if we are really so different.
It's interesting all the changes over the years.
The dress code and the facial features.
People now, they dress like they don't have to dress in certain ways and they can dress however they want now.
Mr Hakimi's got a much-loved chip shop in East Oxford. Henry Underhill ran a grocery shop on the high street just around the corner from our museum. So there's a real common thread there around kind of creativity and community, expressing your creativity and connecting to people in real meaningful ways.
People are all the same. It's just styles and technology, I think, that changes. But people's nature stays the same all through, I think.
Friar turned photographer who's in the frame himself with his snapshot of memories. Penny Sylvester, ITV News, Oxford.
It's the ultimate people watching, isn't it?
Yeah.
But just imagine going back. Did you see there was a gentleman there with no top on?
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe that's how he walks around.
Was he waiting for his chips? We'll never know.
Don't get
Well,
burned.
staying on that theme of taking great pictures, incredibly some of our viewers have captured the northern lights on camera in the south of England. The Aurora Borealis is normally associated, of course, with countries closer to the Arctic Circle. Last night, though, Mary McIntyre filmed this stunning display over the skies of North Oxfordshire. That, and by the looks of it, a few shooting stars as well.
And over in Wiltshire, look at this, Stonehenge. This is what the lights looked over, the ancient monument. It's possible that they will be visible again tonight if the skies are clear. And if you do film them, please do share your pictures with us. So that is the big question then. Will it be clear?
Will it be clear?
Will we see them?
Yes.
I don't know, but Chris Page hopefully does. Here he is with your full forecast.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. High pressure has been the name of the game. It did bring a rather chilly start this morning. Temperatures were as low as -4 to -5 to -6 degrees Celsius. And well, for the week ahead, it does stay mostly cloudy. There will be some brighter spells at times. I think a largely dry week ahead, but it will be a chilly feeling week to come for all too. That's because we've got an area of high pressure with us at the moment. It was with us through the weekend and it stays in place pretty much through the rest of the week. Not moving very far, very fast, that's for sure. We do have a bit of a widening of the isobars as we go through the latter stage of the week, just changing the wind direction slightly, but also making those winds a little lighter, so it won't feel as chilly. But nonetheless, overnight tonight, we've got some clear skies around, some patchy amounts of rain just pushing their way towards the west. But by dawn, I think with the clearer skies, temperatures, particularly in the countryside, could be dipping below freezing. So another cold, chilly and potentially frosty start to Tuesday morning. Some sunshine though, where we've got the clear skies of course. The cloud tending to build as we go through the mid-morning and into the afternoon. A scattering of showers just streaming their way down from the north, but I think for most dry tomorrow with sunny spells and highs around 8 to 9 degrees, but it will feel cooler than that where we've got the strength of the wind. Here times of high water for tomorrow, looking at Brighton there at 4:41 tomorrow morning and again just after 5:15 tomorrow evening. As we leave Tuesday and go into Wednesday, high pressure still with us. It's here for the rest of the week, here to stay. Still some scattered showers overnight, but clear to start, I think, on Wednesday morning with some further sunny spells. And then we do see still some sunny skies this week, but it will still feel quite chilly in the wind. Bye-bye.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And that is it from us for the time being. I'm back with your late update later on this evening, and the ITV Evening News is coming up with Mary Nightingale very shortly.
For now, though, from the team here, thank you so much for watching. We will be back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.